Write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line with y-intercept 6 and slope -1/5. So slope-intercept form is the form y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So all we need in order to write an equation in slope-intercept form is the slope and the y-intercept, and we're given both in this case. So our answer to this problem would be y equals, and in place of m, we put in the given slope, 1/5. So we have y equals -1/5 x, and our y-intercept is +6, so we write +6. So our next problem, it says a line passes through the point -3, 5 and has a slope of -3. Write an equation in slope-intercept form for this line. So again, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So remember, we need to know what m is, which is our slope, and what b is, our y-intercept, in order to write our answer in slope-intercept form. Well, we do know our slope is -3, but we don't know our y-intercept, so we have to find that. So what we're going to do is use slope-intercept form to do that. And in this case, we're given the point -3, 5, and in an ordered pair, our x value comes first, then our y. And remember, our slope m is -3. So we're going to take those values and plug them into our slope-intercept form. So in this case, y is 5, so I will replace y with 5. M is -3. And x is -3 as well. So remember, we're looking for b. So -3 times -3 is +9. And I need to isolate the b, so I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. And 5 minus 9 is -4. So b is -4. So we have all the elements necessary to write our answer in slope-intercept form. So it would be y equals our slope, which is -3. So we have -3x. And since our y-intercept is -4, we could put plus -4, or we can just simply write -4. Our next problem, it says write an equation of the line below, and we're given a graph that passes through the points -8, -5, and 0, -3. So again, we're going to write our answer in slope-intercept form. And remember, we need the slope, which is not given, and we also need the y-intercept, which is given. Remember, the y-intercept is the place where the graph passes through or touches the y-axis. In this case, it's -3. So to find our slope, we know here that our slope is positive because our graph's increasing as we move from left to right. And we can use rise over run and count to determine what our slope is. So we're going to start at the point to the left and move up. In this case, we're moving up 2 units. And then we're going to move to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the change in the rise was +2. The change in the run was +8. We knew our slope would be positive. And now we're going to simplify. So 2/8 is the same as 1/4. So now we have all the elements we need. We found our slope to be 1 over 4, our y-intercept to be -3, so now we're just going to substitute those into y equals mx plus b, and so it'd be y equals 1/4 x. And again, remember here we can just write -3, or you could write plus -3. Our next problem, find an equation for the line that passes through the points 1, -5, and -5, 4. So remember, we're going to write it in slope-intercept form. So we need two things here. We need the slope, which isn't given, and we also need the y-intercept. So the first thing we're going to do is find the slope. Now, how do we do that when we're given 2 points? Well, this is where we're going to go ahead and label our first point x sub 1, y sub 1, and our second point x sub 2, y sub 2, and plug it into our slope formula, which is m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So our y sub 2 is 4. Our y sub 1 is -5. Our x sub 2 is -5 minus our x sub 1 is 1. So remember, anytime we have a double negative, that becomes a positive. So in the numerator we have 4 plus 5, which is 9. And in the denominator we have -5 minus 1, which is -6. So we have a negative slope, and we can reduce 9 over 6 by dividing each by 3. So our slope is -3/2. Now we need to find our y-intercept. So remember, we're going to go to slope-intercept form again and substitute in values for x, y, and m. Now you notice we have two different points. Which one do we use when we're plugging it in to x and y? It doesn't matter as long as you're consistent. In other words, I can't use 1 for x and then 4 for y. If I'm going to use 1 for x, I'm going to use -5 for y. So you choose either of the 2 points, and again we're going to use our slope that we found and plug those into the slope-intercept form. So in this case, y is -5. Our slope is -3/2. And our x is 1. And again, we're looking for b. So we have -5 equals, we're going to multiply -3/2 times 1, which will give us -3/2 plus our b. So we're solving for b, so we need to add 3/2 to both sides. So on the right hand side, that would cancel out, leaving us with b. Now on the left hand side, we're adding -5 and 3/2 together. So we need a common denominator, which would be 2. So we're going to multiply numerator and denominator by 2, and this would give us -10 over 2 plus 3 over 2, which is -7 over 2 for our y-intercept. So we have everything we need to write our answer in slope-intercept form. So we have y equals the slope, which is -3/2 x, minus 7/2. Our next problem, it says write equations for the vertical and horizontal lines passing through the point. So just for review, a vertical line has an equation x equaling some number, and a horizontal line has the equation y equaling some number. So we have an ordered pair here. Remember, the first value is x and the second is y. So if we're writing the equation of a vertical line that passes through the point 7, 0, it's going to be x equals the x value, which in this case is 7. So writing the equation for the horizontal line, it's going to be y equals the y value, and in this case, 0. Consider the line 4x minus 6y equals 1. What is the slope of a line parallel to this line? What is the slope of a line perpendicular to this line? So parallel lines have slopes that are equal to one another. Perpendicular lines have lines that are opposite and reciprocals of one another. So when we look at perpendicular, just for example, if a line had a slope that's negative 2/3, a line that is perpendicular would have a slope that's opposite. So since the first one has a negative slope, it would have a positive slope. And reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. So it would be opposite and reciprocal if they're perpendicular. So when we look at this equation, 4x minus 6y equals 1, we need to first find the slope. And remember, we're going to put it in slope-intercept form in order to find the slope. So we'll start by isolating the y by moving 4x on the other side by taking its opposite. And then dividing by our coefficient, -6. So remember, a negative over a negative is a positive. So that gives us y equals 4/6x plus -1/6. So our slope is 4/6, which can be simplified by dividing each by 2 to 2/3. So the slope of our given line is 2/3. So what is the slope of a line parallel? The exact same thing. And a perpendicular line, remember it's opposite. So since that's a positive 2/3, it's going to be negative. And we take the reciprocal of 2/3, which is 3/2. So a line that's perpendicular would have a slope of -3/2. Consider the line y equals -9x plus 6. Find the equation of the line that is parallel to this line and passes through the point 2, -5. So the first thing we want to do is identify the slope. And remember, since it's already in slope-intercept form, the value or the coefficient of the x is our slope, which in this case is negative 9. So since we're looking for the equation of a line that is parallel, the slopes are the same. So remember, if we're writing an answer in slope-intercept form, we need to know what the slope is, which we know now is negative 9, and we need to know what the y-intercept is, and we don't know this at this point. So we're given a point where x is 2 and y is negative 5. So we're going to take the information we know and plug it into our slope-intercept form. So in this case, y is negative 5. The slope is negative 9. X is 2. And again, we're looking for b. So we have negative 5 equals negative 9 times 2 is negative 18. And we're solving for b, so we're going to add 18 to both sides. And negative 5 plus 18 is 13. So b in this case would be 13. So in slope-intercept form, it would be y equals our slope, which is negative 9 times x, plus, in this case, 13. Now it asks us to find the equation of the line that is perpendicular to this line. So remember, the original slope that we found was negative 9. So if a line is perpendicular, its opposite, so the opposite of negative 9 is positive 9, but remember we also take the reciprocal. So opposite and reciprocal of negative 9 is positive 1/9. Okay, so again, in order to write something in slope-intercept form, we need to find the slope, which we know now is positive 1/9. And we need to know what the y-intercept is, and we don't know that at this point. So again, we go back to slope-intercept form, and we plug in the information given. So our x is 2, our y is negative 5, and our slope is 1/9. So in place of y, I put negative 5. My slope is 1/9. The x value is 2. And again, that's plus b. So I have negative 5 equals 1/9 times 2 is 2/9. And when I want to isolate my b, I'm going to subtract 2/9 from both sides. So on the right hand side, I'm left with just b. And on the left hand side, I'm combining negative 5 or negative 5 over 1 and negative 2/9. So I need a common denominator, and the common denominator is 9. So I need to multiply both the denominator and the numerator by 9 in order to establish my common denominator. So negative 5 times 9 is negative 45, and 1 times 9 is 9. And negative 45 plus negative 2 gives me negative 47 over 9. So b is negative 47 over 9. So writing the equation of the line in slope-intercept form, I have y equals m, which is 1/9 times x minus 47 over 9.